Have you thought about the value that you bring to the team? Those talents, those strengths, those good things? And at the same time, have you thought about the things that you could do to grow, to get better, to be a better part of that team, to get along better, to dissolve conflict, to use everybody's ideas and collaborate? My name is Connie Durham with Connie's Clever Concepts, and I'm going to share those with you today. I have a blog that's full of these ideas on Connie'sCleverConcepts.com, so you can check it out there. All right, so I'm going to start out with the communication styles, and that is the D, the I, the S, and the C. And I'm going to assign each one of these areas one of those styles. So if you don't know your styles, you can take a DISC assessment. That actually is on my.com. You can go there and take the relationships assessment and find out about yourself and find out more about DISC. So I'm going to start out with this. If you are a D personality, a D, you are direct. You are probably a natural leader. And whether you're 2 years old, 10 years old, or 45 years old, or 80 years old, you've probably always been direct, bossed people around, and been a leader through your lifetime. Thinking about it, is this true? Okay, so D's value to the team is that they're a great organizer. They have a great use of time, and whatever the D holds themselves to, they're gonna hold you to it also. So they're the kind of leader who leads through the front and you follow. They're not going to look over your shoulder. They're not going to baby you. They're not going to take time with that. They're going to just lead by running ahead of you and you get the chance to follow. So they're a great challenger. They will challenge you because they challenge themselves. And to some people, that can be a problem. They don't like to be challenged or confronted. But the D is going to confront problems and get rid of problems. So you don't want to be one of their problems, right? So they are going to be direct. They're very innovative. And so they figure out ways to do things and they make decisions quick and they move forward. Like I said, they are a natural leader and that's the D style person. But places that the D could grow are: be a better listener. Stop and listen to the people around you. It makes people feel important. They're going to be happier following you if you listen to them and you make them feel important. And it's hard because you're in a hurry. And so you have to stop and listen to those around you. Be less domineering and controlling. Sometimes the D personality, because they are so steadfast and moving ahead, they're a bit domineering. Their ideas, what they're doing is all they can see. And they forget to, they want everybody to rise to that high place that they feel that they are. D style, to grow, you need to show appreciation to others. Simple words of kindness and appreciation help build your team and they're more happy to follow you. The D style person can maybe take a little more time to build relationships because they are task oriented and they see what needs to be done and they're ready to get it done. And sometimes they run over the people going to get it done. And so be a little more relationships and, listen to people. Show support to the team. They're pretty busy leading the team. And if they stop and listen to their team members, they'll hear other ideas that maybe somebody had that might work better than theirs. The D style needs to explain their thoughts because they think it, they move, they're done. And so sometimes you don't know why they did something. They just do it. And sometimes people get their feelings hurt or they feel put aside by the D personality. The D needs to slow down and be more friendly. And this is not to say that Ds are not friendly because they are, but when they get challenged and they get in a hurry, they forget about the people because they are so task oriented. All right, so let's look at the I personality style and their value to the team. The value to the team for the I is they are a creative problem solver. And so when they hear things going on, they think of ideas and they're a creative problem solver. They give encouragement to other people. Now remember that the D doesn't stop to show appreciation, but the I naturally encourages the team. So they're the cheerleader of the team. And this helps to motivate the team to do more and keeps everybody happy with each other. The I style has a positive sense of humor. And so if something happens, like that that kind of stuff when you do something really dumb and you might be embarrassed. Maybe you fell off a step or something and you're not hurt, but you're so embarrassed. Well, the I has a sense of humor. So they just laugh it off and it doesn't bother them. So they laugh. They have a sense of humor. They negotiate conflicts, and this can help them be a peacemaker. And so they want everyone to get along and be nice and work nicely as a team. Now, the places the I can grow is sometimes they're very spontaneous and they need to think first before they act. So they need to think first and then respond. They need to focus on results. Because they are so people-oriented, sometimes they get hung up with the people and they might not be getting certain things done and they need to focus on the results. Sometimes the I needs to control their actions and their emotions. The I personality is very emotional and they can be very excited or very down, helpful or not helpful, but they need to control their actions and their emotions. And there again, sometimes we have to be aware of those things before we can stop and do those things. Be aware to focus more on details. Because sometimes the little details, I know I'll just share, I myself have a little trouble with my details. And sometimes I have to look at them 2 or 3 times attentively to make sure that I follow through and get something done when it's detailed and it's important. Be aware to slow the pace. I personality styles and the D's are very fast paced. They move very fast, talk fast, make quick decisions, and sometimes they're around people and they need to slow the pace so others can catch up and so that others don't feel like they're getting run over. The I personality may need to talk a little bit less, probably, and listen a little bit more. And you know those conversations that you have where sometimes somebody talks so constantly with no breaks that you can't even get a word in? And that's not called a conversation, is it? That's just called, I was with someone today and they talked for an hour. Instead of being, I was with a friend today and we had a great conversation. That's 2 people talking, right? One listens, one talks, and you take turns, right? All right, the S personality, the value that they bring to the team. If you're an S, the value you bring to the team. The S personality is that great and wonderful, loyal, reliable person. They're a great team member and they bring great value to the team. They're very compliant to authority, and that means that whatever the boss says, they're just going to comply and do what you say. They're not going to probably question, and whatever you say, that's what they're going to do. They're very good listeners, the best, I would say. They are patient and empathetic. They're truly patient and empathetic and good listeners. They're the person you go to when you got some problems, and they'll sit and listen and listen. They may give a little advice, but they'll really listen, and it makes you feel cared for and loved, right? So those S's make great team members, and they help bring the team together and also keep down conflict. So they also, like the I, want everything to stay peaceful and nice, and so they also are good at resolving conflict and certainly not building conflict. But let's look where the S's can grow a little bit. All right, so the S's have to be open to change. S's have trouble with change. Don't change anything on an S too quickly. They got to have time to think about it and adjust to it. So sometimes you have to move forward with change and let things go. Be more direct in your interactions. An S personality style has a tendency, if they're telling you what is wrong and it's really bothering them, they go all the way around the world and they think they told you what was wrong, but you don't even know it. They went tippy-toeing around in such a way that you don't even know that they had a problem. And so S's need to be a little more direct. You can be nice, but a little more direct whenever you are talking with somebody in interactions and you need to tell them something. They need, the S's need to focus on team goals and not procedures. They are people-oriented, but focus on team goals and not procedures. Deal with confirmation. S's rather just walk away from confirmation. So if somebody's, confronting them with something, they rather just walk away. They do not like conflict at all. And so sometimes they have to toughen up, take a little conflict, and keep on moving. Develop some flexibility, because remember that change thing? They don't like change. So it's good to be flexible in these things. Increase the pace a little bit, because they are very steady, and move along just like that, very steady. But sometimes you need to pick up the pace a little bit. They're very relaxed, and they're not real worried about getting the job done. They do get the job done, but they're not real worried about it because they are a very relaxed person. And sometimes the S needs to express their thoughts and their opinions. I always like to use the idea of, I was on a jury one year, and there was a whole group of people, and we all had our opinions of what was going on the jury, but we couldn't talk about it. And when we all started to deliberate around the table, all of a sudden you could tell who were those D personalities and the I's and the S's. And the S's don't say anything. They're quiet. They don't give an opinion. And to me, the jury, we were all kind of talking in the wrong direction. We weren't given those pros and the cons of everything. And some of the people were looking in one direction. And so I brought up a point. I really didn't like, bringing up the point. I was kind of bashful. It was many, many years ago. Brought it up. And when I did, those S's came out of the woodwork. The people who didn't really want to say anything against the crowd and what was being said, but then they said, yeah, I was thinking that too. And so S's sometimes, since they're great listeners, they need to be a little more proactive and say what they're thinking and put that out there. All right, give their opinion. Now, last one is the C personalities. Let's look at what the C personality, the value that they bring to the team. The C is the anchor of reality. And that means the C always sees reality. The I might be a dreamer and using those creative ideas, but the C sees exactly how that could go. And I just say sometimes they see the hardships that can come from that, but they keep the reality check going on. They are conscientious and even-tempered, so they don't get mad easy. They're just very easygoing, non-emotional. They're very thorough. So when they're working on a project, they may research all the details before they begin. They're very thorough, so they make sure everything's taken care of, and they try to think, because they think a lot, of everything. They test and find failures in systems, where some of us might not have the patience to go through the checkbook or the bank account and figure out those numbers. The C thrives on those systems and following through with that. The C personality, like I said, is excellent at gathering information and then testing that information to make sure it is sure and true before they move forward using it. Now, the places that the C can grow are, not everything has to be right. Sometimes the C gets hung up on doing it so correct and so right, they miss out on the joy. They miss out on the fun. They miss out on other opportunities or things that didn't matter as much to everyone else. They spent all their time working on and they didn't get this done, and this done, or weren't paying attention to that because they were trying to be so correct. Less critical of themselves and others. Pay attention to what is good, what is kind, what is lovely. Those things are from the Bible, right? What is good? Pay attention and have gratitude for things and thankfulness for things instead of spending that time being critical of yourself and others. Recognizing team accomplishments. Since their nose is stuck in the book and they are learning and they are figuring things out, they don't tend to stop and think about the people because they are task-oriented. They don't think about the people, the accomplishments. They don't think about saying thank you or wow, that was a great job. And remember, sometimes little words mean so much to people. So it's important as you build relationships with people. This is what does it, C personalities. You build relationships by, letting people know they did a good job and pulling them in to your circle. Sometimes being more decisive on decisions until the C has all their facts brought, they do not want to make a decision. And sometimes that's a little slow and time consuming before they'll make that decision. Switch the focus from facts to people. And you can only do that by thinking and doing on purpose, because we're thinking about the facts instead of the people. And number one is everything matters on the team, but people in just about everything you do matter the most. At home, at work. If people aren't happy, it ain't happy at home. If people are at work ain't happy, it ain't happy at work. Anywhere that you are, if you are coaching a group of people or you're coaching a sports team, if they're not happy with you, it's not good. They don't really want to follow you. So you want to be people oriented, and you want to pay attention to how people feel and think and what they're doing. And C's, sometimes to grow, you have to take a little bit of risk. C's don't like to start things until they know they've got it all right, or they can do it perfect. And sometimes that keeps them from doing anything at all because they're afraid of making mistakes. So here you go with a little bit on DISC, D, I, S, and C. Each person brings value to the team. And if you had all D personalities, those are strong leaders. If you put 4 leaders together, can you imagine? There'd be a lot of banging of heads because each one would want to lead. If you took a bunch of I personalities and you put all them together in the team, 4 I personalities, then they would be excited and talkative and have a great time, but they might not get anything done. If you took 4 S personalities, that's those easygoing, loyal people, they would just talk and think about things they could do for other people, and they might not pay attention to getting things done. But they would have a nice time. But if you put 4 C personalities together, they would all be researching. They'd be on that internet researching, comparing notes, each one feeling their notes were the best notes, and they might not ever get into action because it would take them a long time to figure out, there's nobody to move them forward. That's the D. There's no one to keep it lighthearted. Let's have some joy and fun. That's the I. There's nobody to just keep it steadily moving and keep conflict down between the C's or the D's. So it's important to have one person from each style or 2 people from each style, whether it's a team, a group, a committee, because you're going to get your best collaboration when you put all those styles together. I hope you learned something today, and it gives you confidence where you are a strength and where you are good at for your team. And I hope you learned something today where you can grow. Pick out 1 or 2 of the grow areas for your personal style, and join me on Connie'sCleverConcepts.com for my Think Tank studio that's coming soon, and it's going to be a membership area. I believe if everybody thinks a little bit more, much more will get done, people will get along better, and I think the world will be a better place. Thanks for listening today.